See who we got. Stargate. Hey, Harry.
How are you?
Hey.
Man. Good to see you.
Yeah, you too, man. How's everything going?
Yeah, not bad actually, yeah. It's been really boring to be fair.
Yeah, I bet, man. I think it's the same for everybody, isn't it, right now?
No.
Yeah. Man, I just wanted to say just before we start, appreciate you taking the time out to do this and stuff. I know everybody's home and stuff, but still, appreciate it, man, because it's good for the players and good for everybody else just tuning in.
No worries, yes. Help you out as much as I can, and like to share what I've learned through my career and that. It'd be good to let everybody in Canada, know, so.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'll just give people maybe 1 more minute, 2 more minutes just to join in before we start. But yeah, before we just get going into like more of the questions and stuff, like how have you been keeping up with everything with like the coronavirus and stuff? Like, how's it impacted you?
Oh, it's impacted me quite a lot. It's just like, missing training, and obviously they've had to postpone our season and stuff, and it's just been off, because I was looking forward, to the Saturdays, and games and stuff, and it's been quite awful, like not having that football and not having like being around your teammates and that, it's always good to have that, but it's been tough, like, just physically and mentally, it's just been quite tough, but I'm staying with Ben at the moment, so it's good to have him here, and it's great because we have a field right next to us as well, so it's just worked out perfect, I guess, in the situation we are in, so.
No, yeah, that's good, man. I mean, I think it'd be a lot tougher too if you were by yourself, right? So it's good to have Ben there and stuff, and at least that way you have some company and stuff while you're going through this. Because I find it hard for people who be alone, right? Like, what are you gonna do? Like, everything be over video calls and stuff, but it's tough.
It's a weird situation.
Yeah, it's crazy, but I know, like, obviously you haven't been able to do like regular training and all the like team training, but I guess like one thing that we can start out with is like, what have you been doing to stay fit and like stay sharp and everything?
Yeah, so like I said, there's a pit like with goals and stuff. It's really close by to where we're staying, so it's kind of a perfect scenario, for me and Ben, and obviously just joining in with him in training and just we've been doing just obviously you don't have the luxury to do kind of team training where you can work on more the tactical and stuff. So it's been good, but we've been really focusing on just like the technical aspects, just short, sharp little sessions and stuff. A lot of passing, and for me personally, like in my game, I've looked at stuff I need to work on, and I say finishing one of the bigger parts of my game that I need to kind of focus and work and get better at. So me and Ben have just been doing a lot of finishing sessions and
that's good.
Fitness as well, not too much fitness because it's tough to say when we're going to be back, so I don't want to batter in the cardio and stuff when we don't know if we're going to be off for how long, so you just gotta maintain it really. I've been doing a lot of finishing, passing, little technical touches and stuff. That's what I've been just focusing on at the moment.
For sure, like more personalized stuff. Like, has the club sort of sent you stuff that they want you to work on as well? Like, has it been more like, have they told you things like that or given stuff to players?
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure all the clubs are doing that. It's a bit confusing at the moment. There's a lot of kind of stuff going on behind closed doors and stuff, at the moment with this situation. So it's a bit tough, trying to get what they're sending and to do it. But they've sent mainly fitness stuff. Mainly working with the fitness instructor, and he's been sending stuff out.
Definitely. Yeah, it's good, man. I mean, it's the same thing for our players. Like, everybody's just we're trying to give as much stuff as we can to our players to just stay fit, number one. But like you said, like a lot of technical stuff, because when you're by yourself, or even like you and Ben, even like two people, there's not too much you can do, right? So just trying to keep as many things going as possible. Yeah, I mean, like I guess the other thing that we can, like, now that we have a couple more people on, is like the first question I had for you is like, how many years have you been a pro? I think it was like a cool question, because I know a lot of people know you in the area, but some people don't, and I want people to obviously find out more about you, like, with this goal.
Yeah, so initially I moved over when I was 15. Moved over and signed with Fulham. And the first year that was really based on a kind of a scholarship apprentice kind of contract. So I was mainly with the under 18s and 23s there. So that was kind of my academy, kind of, where I grew up training with them and kind of them coaching me to be kind of the player I am, So it was really enjoyable there, 2 years there. And then I signed my first kind of pro, I guess, contracts when I went up to Hearts in Scotland.
Yeah.
And that was a good experience for me, I think. It kind of showed, like, the ups and downs of football, Obviously it was a big kind of turnaround from the kind of place I had in England to Scotland.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it was better or worse, it was just the atmosphere is a bit different, I did enjoy my time there at times, and it was tough because we went through quite a lot of managers in the space I was doing there. But then when I was there for the second year, I went out on loan and got quite a few kind of professional games under my belt. Stenhousemuir. They're not the biggest team in the world, but still, just to get, at my age, it was just to get some, like, men football, like, just to get some minutes in professional kind of environment,
For sure.
I went on and done really well there. I went on and scored quite a few goals, and I won kind of player of the year, young player of the year.
That's brilliant.
So I got into the team of the year for the league, the whole league. So that was quite good for me. And then that kind of boosted me and got my name out there, and then Ross County kind of picked up, and they offered me a contract, and I went up there and signed with them, and that's where I kind of kicked on and got more, went higher up the leagues into the championship, and then this year with the Scottish Premier League, and it's been really good, and just the experience has been amazing, So.
Yeah, I remember I think, like, we chatted a while back, and you were saying, like, you had a couple options, but one of the options was Ross County, and, like, trying to see, like, if you could get promoted and stuff. So, like, that's like that was a big one, and, like, obviously, like, big for the team and stuff. But yeah, it's interesting, just, like, for everybody to know what type of pathway there is, and, like, I think some people don't realize how much of a steady climb it is, and, like, how much you got to put in work. Like, even once you make it to Europe, you have to, like, grind it out there. It's not like you've just got the final product and stuff. But I guess before all this stuff started breaking out and everybody got affected by this, like, how are you, like, enjoying life in Scotland, and particularly with Ross County?
It's been a bit difficult, to be fair. Like, I've been enjoying it, obviously, but it's just the way I'm situated. Ross County is quite high up north, so away traveling to do, and but it is good because we got a good home record, because the teams don't want to travel, so but it's a great experience. I've been traveling on a lot, and not just with kind of through UK, but with the Team Canada as well, when I was kind of going through that. And But yeah, Scotland's is actually quite lovely. Like, there's a really nice kind of scenery. It's nothing you kind of get. Like, I never thought I'd be up here. So
yeah.
it's kind of just like traveling in a way, you know. It's going from
Yeah.
but I do enjoy it. It's good.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. I mean, it's always one place that I wanted to be in. Like my girlfriend's family, like part of their family is from Scotland, so it's always been like on the list, man. But I'll have to come visit you.
I definitely. It is.
Yeah.
Edinburgh is the best, I'd say. Edinburgh is my favorite.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've heard stories about Glasgow too. So yeah.
Oh, my girlfriend's from Glasgow. It's
Oh yeah.
yeah. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I guess like the other thing. So obviously we talked a bit about like the pathway like from like when you were in Europe. But I think like a lot of players like from FFTW and like just KW generally, we're just wondering like how did you get to that opportunity with Fulham? Like what did you do here in Kitchener? That helped you like get to that? Did you get scouted? Did you get help from like a coach or like just talk us through that experience?
Yeah, so like obviously growing up, I was part of Kitchener Soccer, you know, just the local rep team, you know, and
Yeah.
and Mario Halleper was my coach, and he's done like wonders for me, you know. He's been really good,
Yeah.
and kind of got me. He's actually the one that's got me to kind of where I am today.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a situation where I was kind of in the right place, you know, and I was around the right people, and I ended up kind of getting through with an agency, and they ended up sorting out some trials for when I went over to UK for me to kind of go and train and see if I could kind of go in that pathway, you know, and
Yeah.
obviously through my life and stuff has been just training a lot, you know, and it's just been kind of listening to coaches and stuff and getting the right kind of advice and learning what I'm good at and learning what I'm not good at, you know, and then I ended up getting that chance to go on trial, and I went over to trial with 3 teams. Fulham obviously was one of them. I went to Brentford as well, and then I went to Queen's Park Rangers as well. So those are 3 big ones, and I went like for a week kind of trial with all 3 teams.
Okay.
And, I was really surprised, you know, like personally, I was really surprised when I got the call at the end that all of them offered me the same kind of contract.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was a really big kind of happy moment for me when I heard that. And at the time, I thought Fulham, you know, would be the best with their kind of record and the academy and their kind of standards. So I went with them, and so that was kind of what happened.
Yeah, I mean, so like that. I mean, that's pretty interesting. Would you recommend? Like, I know Mario had a huge impact, and obviously he has like a lot of connections and stuff. But like for other players, like, would you say? I know you like went through an agency, but like, would you recommend that for other players, like looking for like those type of opportunities?
Yeah, definitely. Like, obviously, it's hard to say, like, you know, because it's difficult, you know. I was just put in the right spot at the right time, you know, and obviously, had Mario as a good kind of mentor, you know, and stuff like. It is really hard to say, you know. Scouting is always there. Like I know that I've been scouted a few times, you know, with certain tournaments I've been to, you know, because really, like, especially with the MLS these days, you never really know who's going to be watching with anything, you know. So there's always that opportunity for somebody to be at a certain game and you doing well, and then things could kind of go from there, you know. So that's for sure. That's one of the things I'd say, you know, just like even if you're training or playing, you always gotta kind of have that in the back of your head, you know, who's kind of watching me. And I still legit like think about that today when I'm playing, like, let's say, for instance, like Celtic or something, you know, like I'm playing at Celtic Park today. There's loads of people going to be watching. Like, let's have a good game. You know. That's what
I wanted to actually bring that up. Like, there was a game recently where you guys played at Celtic Park, and you came on as a substitute?
Yeah, I came on for I think it was last 30 minutes of the game, and it was really good, actually. It was a great experience. And
talk us through like how that felt. Like how I don't know how big the stadium is, but obviously it's one of the biggest in Scotland. But like just that the atmosphere and being on the pitch.
yeah, it's obviously like it's something you get used to because when I was at Hearts, I was on the bench a few times and stuff and warming up as well. I was a bit nervous just warming up.
Yeah.
But I think it's something you get used to. But just when the gaffer gave me the shout to get ready, obviously you get a wee buzz and you're just like excited to go on and it's exciting. But I just always I think the thing is it's just mentally like you just gotta know like I think to myself like I know that I know that I'm good enough to play here and I just gotta go out and do my thing and just show them why they're putting me on, and obviously we were losing it quite a bit, so the pressure was a bit off. But it's a great experience, it's good.
For sure. I like that the mental aspect of it, right? Like having, like you said, you got used to it. I think like it must be daunting at first, but once you get used to like the atmosphere and the people and stuff, I think like that's a huge part of the game because some people have all the attributes, but they can't deal with that part of the game. I think like the pressure side. So that's huge. I wanted to say like in terms of like players from Kitchener or Waterloo or just in general like this area or Canada, like I think the interesting thing that you raised is like even though you're playing in Europe, and I think like Europe for a lot of people is like the pinnacle of it, like the highest point. But you mentioned MLS and like other avenues for people to play. Like how difficult do you think it is for a player from like this area to make it to that like top level, and like what do they have to do to like be prepared or even try and be prepared for that opportunity?
Yeah, I know for a fact. I know there's a lot of talented players in Kitchener Waterloo. Growing up in my team, we had a really solid team, and I know that there's a lot of talent there. And I say, like it seems like obviously the teams in the MLS, they'll be looking for the youth players to kind of get them early and coach them up. I say it's really just about your mindset because I remember when I was younger, and that's just the dream I wanted, was to go overseas and play professionally. That was my goal, and I was out training constantly, just working on everything I could. And even if it was like we'd have training with Kitchener, it would be out. I'd stay out a bit after, like longer after, and even just next morning before school or something, I would just go out and just juggle or just do whatever, So I say it's about the mindset, and you gotta think as well the sacrifices, you have to make, because you might think it might be amazing just to go over and play, but I was like 15 when I fully moved. It wasn't like my family, it was just me, it was just I moved myself. So like it's just a whole mindset. You just gotta know that like if you really want something, you have to be ready to put in like the work for it,
100%. Yeah, I think that's the thing that we try with players too. Is like, you come to training and everything, but you gotta be training at home. You gotta be literally doing everything that you possibly can, extra touches every single day. Like if you really, really, really want to take it somewhere. But I think that's something that we've got to start. I think grilling into the minds of like players. I think like people like you, like certain individuals, I think people do that a lot. But it's hard to have that mentality. I feel like people in the UK, like in particular, like you grow up, you play on the streets like all the time. I don't see that here. It's not like the same sort of setup, but it's a different country and different set. But it's definitely something that we try and tell our players 100%. All right, so we'll move on to some questions from some fans, FFW players, and some parents as well. So I got a question from Cameron_Ross04 on Instagram. He said, "What do you enjoy about Ross County?"
I enjoy a lot about Ross County. I'd say the main thing is just the whole atmosphere, with the players and the teammates and stuff. I really like. We've got a really, really good kind of tight group with us there. I'd say just the teammates and stuff is just one of the things I really enjoy about Ross County.
Okay, let's see. Next one. From Jaden RE, what do you think is the biggest difference between football in Scotland to football in Canada? How are the playing styles different, and also the coaching as well?
Okay, so it's a tough question. There's a lot to that. I'd say I haven't seen really much playing in Canada because I've been over here for quite a while. But I know growing up that there wasn't much difference. Obviously, maybe the quality might be a bit better with overall players, but there was definitely some talent when I was growing up. And I say that it's just kind of in the UK. I say everybody just has that kind of the mindset again. Like they live and breathe football, and is what they always been doing when they're growing up. They always play. So I'd say it's hard to say the different style of play for football, because I know for Scotland, for example, is a lot different to the UK, like in the but in Canada, I haven't really seen much, so it's hard to tell that. I say that coaching wise, I say there's when I went from Kitchener to Fulham, I noticed that like obviously Mario was a great coach for me, and to be fair, there wasn't too much like different. It's just I think every coach is he's gonna like something different to another coach,
Yeah.
So there was always that, but I think that the coaching in Canada is getting a lot better like these days, and you've got stuff like your academy and stuff is great as well for people to work on and for you to mentor people as well. And I think it's good.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I definitely think, like, even from growing up, I think the environment has changed so much to what it used to be. Because I felt like, there was a lot of volunteer coaches, and like nothing against those people who, took their time out and did all that. But yeah, it's just completely different when you have someone with their licenses and
exactly. I was gonna say that as well. It's just
knows what they're doing and stuff. Makes it definitely a big difference. Next question from Staggies_daily. What has been your most memorable moment in a county shirt so far, and what are your aspirations for next season?
The favorite part in Ross County Top was when I made my debut in the Scottish Prem against St. Mirren, and I remember that game well. It was really good. I had a really good game as well, so it was enjoyable, and we got a late goal as well to top it off. So it was good, and then for next year, obviously just got to kick on and keep fighting, from the starting 11 spot. Personally, for me, I say that'd be the biggest,
Definitely. Okay. Oh, this one's a good one. Two-parted question here from Liam S. How old were you when you decided you wanted to make football your career, and what sacrifices did you have to make to achieve your goal of becoming a professional footballer?
Hard to say when I thought I'd choose it, but I say when I first started rep football, I just thought I'd try out. I can't really remember what I just thought I'd try out and see how I would do and if I could make the team. I was on Waterloo at first, playing year up, and then I made the switch over with Mario, and I think after that, I'd say that's when it really kind of started. Like, okay, I'm actually quite good. Let's try maybe go for something. And then as the years went on, I really started to think like, let's do this. Let's try and get as far as I can in the game. So.
Yeah. So was it like a quick progression, like to when you sort of like realized that you could do this? Like, how old were you when you sort of like thought about that?
I say when I was probably around like maybe 13, 14, maybe even earlier, maybe around 12. I just I just loved the game, you know. I just loved just going out and just struggling. You know, just loved it. So I was like, if I love this, like, why not I can make a career out of it, you know. So
yeah,
I just put my head down and just kept working on stuff.
Mm. And the second part of this question was just what sacrifices did you have to make to achieve your goal of becoming a pro?
The biggest sacrifice I'd say was just kind of leaving everything behind, you know, and just chasing the dream, you know, going over and playing football. Because, like as I said, like, it wasn't as if my family all moved over. It was just kind of it was just really me. And at first, it was quite tough. You know, the first 6 months, it was kind of like, you know, I'm missing home and stuff. Like, I was quite young still, and it was quite difficult, you know. And there's other sacrifices, as if, like, just things as well. Like, even just like when I was training back in Canada, it was just like the hours and stuff I do. Like, I wouldn't have much time, you know, for hanging out with friends or just like kind of things like that. You know, I wouldn't have much time for like socializing. I was always just kind of putting my head down and just making myself better, you know. So I guess that's another one.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think, like, you know, you got to sacrifice a lot of things to, like, you might miss important days, you know, on the calendar and stuff because you have games or you have training or, you know, things that you won't be able to make because, you know, you're
like,
trying to go after.
For example, this year I didn't get to go home for Christmas, so it was a bit tough for me. Like, that was the first kind of year I was away.
To work, and it's a big one.
Sorry, I think I was just loading
that. From Cynthia V, we see a lot of playing styles in different leagues. A lot of kids are putting emphasis on footwork these days. But what would you say is the most important skill you have to focus on when going to the UK?
So, like, I say technical. You can always do technical drills, you know, you can always work on your touch and stuff, and you can always focus on that. But one thing that I was kind of struggled with when I was kind of going the step from Canada to UK was just almost the tactical side of the game. Just knowing where to be when you're on the park, just positioning wise. And I did a lot of work on that, and it's tough to do that on your own, you know, because you need the heart, the whole kind of the game, the whole field to do that. But what really helped me with that was just playing kind of as many games as I could, you know, and doing a lot of, you know, when the coach is doing kind of shape work, you're kind of like, oh, I'm not really keen on this. You're not looking forward to when you're just working on the shape, not really touching the ball at all. But that's what I really kind of focused on and I listened to, and I think that helped me a lot.
For sure. Because I think there's like been a lot of hype about, you know, all the technical stuff, and which is good. Like, you got to be really good with your feet. You got to have
100%,
a nice touch and everything else. But I just feel like sometimes there's like a breakdown of, like, somebody might be really, really good with their feet, but then when you put them on the field in a certain position, they can't produce. So it's trying to get the balance between both, like you said. So
I'd say, like, the first thing, like, if you're going to be scouted or something, or first thing that maybe they might like take a, like, oh wow, he's got a great first touch, or he can really hit the ball nicely, or he's got really quick feet, you know. So I think that also pays to it. Like, I think technical is almost as important, you know. But again, like, just doing that step, you need to have the whole kind of package, you know.
For sure. Okay, next question. Well, this is a good one. Robbie_McDonald. What's been Harry's favorite game so far for Ross County? And he also when he sent me this question, he said, "Can I also have can I please also have a signed T-shirt?" So you might have to get back on him for that.
Alright. So, did you say? Sorry, I didn't hear that. What was the question?
What's been Harry's favorite game so far for Ross County?
My favorite game was when we played Celtic at home. We ended up losing. I think it was 4-1. So it was a really tough game for us. But I actually got the start for that game as well. So I played the whole 90 against Celtic, and it was a big eye opener. But I felt like I did fit in, you know.
Yeah.
But it was definitely one of the most memorable games I've played so far, because just from that game alone, I learned like so much on just positioning, you know, and just loads of stuff. So it's good to have as well. Like there's quite a few experienced boys on my team as well.
Yeah.
They're always chipping in and helping me out, and that's good to take that advice as well.
For sure. Okay, so I know obviously this is a little bit different right now, but I guess this would be like a month ago. Michael W. asked, "What does a day in the life of Harry Paton look like mid-season?"
Mid-season, it's a day in the life. Okay, so I'll walk it through. So for us at Ross County, we get in at about 9:30 in the morning for breakfast, you know, and have our breakfast and get ready, and we have kind of an hour or so before training to do our own rehab work in the gym for injury prevention, and if they want to do a little extra kind of gym work, you can do that, and then we go out for training about 10:30, and we do kind of warm up and stuff. And it depends on the day of the week, really, because if it's closer to game day, we won't train as hard. You know, you don't want to be too tired, and also like if it's earlier on the week, you want to kind of keep the fitness up. So we'll do quite heavier training, and then we come in for lunch after training, and then we do gym in the afternoon, and then that's us really until the next day. We train about, say, 5 times a week, you know, and then the game.
Yeah. Again, I guess like different days of training are more intense than others, especially when it's coming up to like the match day and stuff.
Yeah, so like usually on the Friday before a game, we'll just do warm up. We'll do some boxes and some passing, and then we'll just go to set pieces and just work through those. Yeah.
So they keep it light, yeah, for sure, definitely. Let's see. Next one. Oh yeah, from Melissa L. If you were going through the quarantine as a developing player, how would you be spending your time, both technically and personally?
Personally, I wouldn't be getting myself too down. You know, I just kind of keep the spirits up. You know, just to keep positive. You know, and think that way. And then I say technically, I think I mentioned before, I was saying about just going out, and I know it's hard with people because they've all got different kind of situations. I'm quite lucky. I said that I got the pitch quite near me, but there's loads of things you can do, even at home, you know, or just in your backyard. But definitely just while you're in your spare time, if you're bored of that, just go out and, you know, work on touches, work on stuff. I know you've put on sessions and stuff, you know, that people can go and work on, you know, and even just go out and just juggle, just work on your touch. That's just the best thing, I guess, you know.
Yeah, 100%. I think like that's the. Yeah, I know it's such a difficult situation because, you know, you don't get that team element, but I think the biggest thing that we're trying to tell our players is, you know, you gotta, as long as your touch is right and you've been putting in the work and you're physically at a good level and you come back, you know, that's all we can ask. Because then at least, you know, when you're coaching and stuff, you can talk about all the tactical stuff later, but everybody has to have that base when they come back in, right? So it's
you're gonna be when the quarantine's finally over and you get back in, you're gonna be a bit rusty. You know, it's just you know, you don't need to get too upset with that. You're gonna be might take you a few training sessions to get back to where you were in that, but you can just keep going over and staying sharp and keep working on those touches and stuff.
Definitely. Ali F. What are some of the strongest teams you've played against? How did you cope with the pressure and prepare for those games?
I'd say toughest games I played in were it's a bit weird because Celtic's the main one. You know, that's the toughest game I've played in.
Yeah.
There's other teams in the Scottish Prem that are quite different style to Celtic, where they just kick it up and they just are just absolute, like, just really big, you know, and they play that way where they kick it up and try and just battle, you know. So some of those games, for example, like Livingston, it's not the prettiest game, but it is quite tough playing those games because you don't get a lot of the football. You're just kind of running and tackling, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, Celtic's the main one. I didn't get the chance to play Rangers this year because I was injured on two of the games I could have played, so didn't get to play them. But yeah, those are the main, and hopefully more to come, you know, in the next few years.
For sure. Who would you say was like the biggest team that you played against when you were with Fulham, like in England?
Yeah, so I say the biggest teams I played a few teams when I was under 18s and 23s. I got the chance to play obviously Chelsea and Arsenal and teams like that at their kind of the 23s and 18s level, and I got the chance to play a game against West Ham as well, and it was mixed with a lot of their first team players, so that was quite a good experience. It was at Upton Park as well, which is done. Also, I was one of the last games at the stadium.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah,
that's an iconic stadium, man. Okay, this is this is an interesting one. It's from Aliyaf again. What is the biggest trophy or title you've won? What would you like to win next, if possible, or to aim for?
Yeah, so the best title I've won so far was the championship title in Scotland. We won the league there, which was great. We also won the League Cup there as well, which was a big thing for me as well.
Yeah.
Those are the two main ones so far. And I've won quite a few awards with Stenhousemuir. We got promoted with them as well, and I got some personal awards with that.
Nice.
I'd say next for me, the next title I'd like to look for would be probably. It's gonna be tough, but probably through the Olympics. I was lucky to get a call up for the Olympics this year with the 23s, but with all the kind of stuff, it's obviously been postponed till next season. So hopefully I can go through and get in the squad again and go maybe and just see how far we can go in that, and that would be a title if he could go and win that.
Yeah, definitely. Just on that, like, I know, like, with the Canadian national team and everything, like, you were like part of you went through the system, right? Like, what's the current scene right now? Like, are you pushing to get into the team? Like, how does it work? Exactly?
Yeah, so they're always checking in on the players and stuff, you know, and I was quite fortunate. I think just with playing at the high level I was, they chose me to go to the camp. It was a bit frustrating because I obviously got kind of called off, you know. I've been always pushing, you know, to get back into playing for Canada because it's a great experience, you know, and it's a great feeling playing for your country and playing against big teams as well, you know, and great players. So hopefully soon maybe get a men's call up as well. That'd be like quite amazing.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, we're rooting for you, man. Like, I think you deserve to be in that team and obviously like fighting for a spot in there. So hopefully it goes your way. I just saw one question in here, which I thought was a good one. It's from Rich M. Who's the toughest, most difficult player you played against, and why?
I say say the toughest player I've played against was. It's tough to say. Can I say in training or can I say is it in a game?
Yeah, let's talk about in a game.
In a game.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go back to the game against Celtic. I thought that boy McGregor in the midfield, he's like really technically, he's really gifted. Like he's very good. I just couldn't get near him the whole game. Just kind of get close to him, and I say him for sure.
Yeah.
So far, yeah.
A question from Ryan M. What is the best stadium you've ever played in?
The best stadium, I'd probably say the Upton Park Stadium was really cool, because just all the history that's been there, and obviously they're away to the, I think it's the England one now. So, we shut that stadium down, so it was good to get a game in there. Yeah,
how was the atmosphere like with the West Ham fans? I know like they're known for being like,
no, it was a closed door game, so there wasn't any.
Oh, it was okay. Yeah.
But it was just great to get into the stadium, the grass.
To be in there. Yeah.
Isn't like.
Robbie _ McDonald 02 asked, which county player are you closest with?
Which player am I closest to? Like we're all quite close to each other. We got a good team there. A good change room. I say there's quite a few. I say Don Cowie is one for me, just in the way that he kind of gives me advice and stuff in training, and helps me out. If I'm struggling with something, he gives me his advice. He's had a really good career in football, and it's great to hear from him. So I'd say Don Cowie just in that respect.
Cool. I actually had a question for you. What's the best goal you've ever